The root cause of Nepal's geopolitical struggle. Why parties keep failing. Nepal is caught between three giants: India, China, and the United States. Everyone talks about geography, treaties, and projects like MCC or BRI. But let me ask you, what if the real problem isn't out there, but inside our own politics? Today we'll look at the root cause of Nepal's geopolitical struggles, how our democratic parties turned foreign policy into a game of survival, and how we can shift our mindset from dependency to clarity. From inner awakening to national sovereignty, this is about Nepal learning to be its own master. What went wrong, in plain words? Power before policy. Parties treated foreign relations as a tool to win or keep power. Sign this project, block that treaty, visit this embassy, depending on who could help topple or make a coalition. No steady national line. Instead of building a Nepal-first doctrine, leaders often leaned on one capital for leverage against rivals, whether it was New Delhi, Beijing, or Washington. The result? Outsiders negotiate directly with party bosses, bypassing the state. Fragmented signals. Different parties send different foreign policy messages, like one is pro-MCC while another is totally anti-MCC. One seems warm to China, but another leans toward India or the West. Partners honestly just don't know what Nepal really wants, so they end up pushing harder for their own interests. Hidden party financing and those intricate links between business and politics allow foreign money, consultancies, and NGOs to quietly steer agendas. Without clear and clean rules, policy in Nepal, well, it becomes something that can just be bought. Our diplomatic corps, think tanks, and even the National Security Council haven't really been empowered to provide continuity beyond election cycles. So, with every new coalition, it's basically a full policy reset. Party defensiveness and transactional behavior increased as border blockades, federal expenses, and identity politics led groups to seek outside support. The bottom line is, Nepal's core geopolitical risk is not neighbors' ambitions. It's really our internal inconsistency. A Nepal First Fixed Strategic Neutrality 2.0 means clear rules that any party in power must follow. Let's talk about our doctrine, what we really stand for. Non-alignment, not non-engagement. We trade with all, but align with none militarily. Dual corridor vision, both India-facing and China-facing connectivity, always audited for sovereignty and debt safety. No military footprints, absolutely no foreign bases, and no exclusive security clauses. Economic openness plus data sovereignty. We're open for investment, but closed to data extraction and political manipulation. And finally, issue-by-issue pragmatism. Hydropower goes to anyone under the same rules. Digital projects must pass cybersecurity tests, and all grants and loans should be published. Alright, let's talk about the guardrails. These are basically hard rules that parties just can't break. First up, the foreign financing firewall. This means there's a strict ban on foreign donations to political parties and their linked NGOs. Plus, there'll be a real-time eKYC party finance portal that's open for everyone to see. And all lobbying or consulting contracts have to be disclosed within 14 days, no exceptions. Next, the treaty transparency rule says that any major agreement, whether it's about power, transit, digital stuff, or defense, must be published 30 days before it's ratified, along with an independent legal and debt risk memo. Then, we have the One Voice Protocol. Here, a cross-party foreign policy council sets the red lines and messaging for the country, and even if the government changes, those lines remain the same. Moving on, data and digital sovereignty means all critical digital infrastructure like citizen data, IDs, payments, or grid control has to be hosted right here in Nepal, or at least under mirror hosting with Nepalese jurisdiction. And finally, debt and dependency caps ensure there are project-level and creditor-level limits. For example, no single country can account for more than 35% of new sovereign debt over a 4-year cycle. Now, who actually keeps all this steady? Well, first there's a professional diplomacy track, which is totally merit-based and protected from those frequent transfers that happen after every coalition. Then we've got the National Interest Review Office, or NIRO, a small technocratic unit that issues binding risk flags on any big foreign deal. There's also a parliamentary Geo-Audit Committee, which holds quarterly hearings on party financing, treaties, and any state-to-party interference. And to top it off, independent policy labs will be funded to run neutral research centers, so we're not always dependent on foreign think tanks. So, let's talk about some fast, doable solutions that are actually useful right now. In the first 30 days, we could announce Strategic Neutrality 2.0 as our official state doctrine. At the same time, set up a Foreign Policy Council. This would include the Prime Minister, opposition leaders, and the heads of foreign affairs, finance, and energy, with a simple one-page memo outlining our absolute red lines. And we could publish a foreign deal disclosure portal, retroactively posting the top 50 agreements for everyone to see. Moving into the next phase, from day 31 to 100, we should pass a Party Finance and Lobbying Act. Think mandatory eKYC for donations, a ban on foreign money, and quarterly public ledgers. We'd create something called NIRO by ordinance, and require geo-risk notes for all major deals. Plus, launch a debt and exposure dashboard showing details on hydropower offtake, creditors, interest profiles, just making it all transparent. And yeah, we'd issue digital sovereignty standards to cover hosting, cryptography, and procurement checks. Looking a bit further ahead, over the next 6 to 18 months, we need to professionalize our diplomatic cadre and set a 10-year foreign policy white paper that survives changes in government. We should build a hydropower data tourism triangle exporting power, attracting data centers with green energy, and offering remote work or talent visas. Finally, we'd sign symmetric access agreements, so the same rulebook applies to India, China, and the US or EU when it comes to customs, dispute resolution, and intellectual property. Now, at the heart of the fix are party behavior reforms. First, a coalition clause. Every coalition agreement must include those FP Council red lines, so there's no more deal-by-deal freelancing. Ministers and top party officials would have to file public conflict of interest declarations and, honestly, violations would mean immediate disqualification. Open docket diplomacy would become the norm, with sanitized minutes of key foreign meetings posted within 7 days. And for real accountability, civil society and youth groups would get the standing to file complaints directly to NIRO or the Geo-Audit Committee. That's how we keep everyone honest. Of course, there are risks, and here's how to handle them. If there's retaliation, like pressure or a blockade, we diversify our routes using air cargo and northern corridors, while maintaining humanitarian exemptions and setting up prearranged swap lines. If deal-making slows down, just set a 60-day fast track for low-risk projects, so investors don't lose interest. And for domestic spoilers, enforce the party finance law equally, and communicate the benefits to the public with simple, clear dashboards. It's all about staying one step ahead. So, here's the truth. India will always seek security, China will always seek connectivity, and the US will always seek influence. But Nepal doesn't have to be anyone's pawn. If our leaders stop chasing short wins and start following clear rules, clean money, transparent deals, and one national voice, then Nepal can stand tall as a bridge, not a battleground. Just like in the inner journey, where freedom comes from mastering the mind, in the outer world, freedom comes from mastering our politics. Nepal must be its own master, and that journey honestly starts with us, the youth, the citizens, the thinkers, demanding clarity, integrity, and balance. If you believe Nepal can walk this path, don't just watch, share this, subscribe to Guyan Yoga too, and let's awaken together for a sovereign Nepal.